Good afternoon, everyone. This is RAND, and welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Monday, March 25, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We'll be having a time for change call this Wednesday, around 9 p.m. Eastern. We're going to talk about this April 8th. When we begin to trust that we are neither consciousness nor its content, we are the timeless source, the supreme reality. That's what we trust. Most of us will be under the direction of the ego mind, which means then we worry about our future. Interestingly enough, we don't have a future. We have today. We have the moment. We have the now. I don't believe many people are aware of it. The biggest energy drain that we could possibly come across is this. It is one of the biggest energy drains people have, that literally stops us in our tracks from manifesting the life of our dreams. And the worry, stress, fear, anxiety is a lot like TV, and that the mindset will pull you in and entertain you for hours, days, years, and even lifetime. And it really is, when we do that, we are praying for what we don't want to manifest. It is exactly how we create what we don't want in our lives. Because what do we do when we worry, stress, fear? We're always putting energy into what we don't want to happen. How much energy then is left to meditate on and feel what we do want? When we spend our time hoping and wishing, this is the planet right now, hoping and wishing that we don't experience something. This universe just hears that as something we really need to experience. And where is it derived from? Well, ego mind, worry, stress, fear stems from not trusting our personal connection to this universe. It's created from being attached to some positive and negative idea about a future situation. The mind is attached to the thought that it will not happen the way you think it should. Many of us are living in a what-if state of mind that is visualizing what we don't want to experience instead of what we do. When we are worrying, stressing, and fearing, we have stopped appreciating, trusting, and are focusing on fear. Of course, we want to throw in there our programming and conditioning on top of that. You know, how we are conditioned and how we're programmed to believe. This is why we repeat. So we just repeat as a civilization. What might or might not occur is ultimately up to this universe in the end. And our main job is to raise our vibration so that we do our little part in making this planet a more enjoyable place and inadvertently attracting the highest possible people and situations into our lives. Worry, stress, and fear is caused from a lack of consciousness, which can be shifted with a little mental discipline and focus. When worrying, stressing, and fearing, the reins on the mind are too tight on fear and too loose on love. The mental horses of the mind run wild when worry is present, and we end getting pulled down roads we never wanted to go down. Most of us practice this fine art of worry, stress, fear for years. We may be numb to passion, pleasure, and freedom and have become kind of like a worry zombie. To step out of the zombie zone, we simply need to do one thing. Pull on the reins of our mind. Steer those addicted horses back to your pleasure pastures by staying focused on trust and feeling the positive outcome you really want. You'll soon find that the mind is much happier, and its worry, stress, fear approach to living will leave your life stable. This universe knows exactly what it is doing. It is divinely intelligent and vastly creative. Let's say that the future was 100% perfect exactly as it showed up, and there was nothing we could do about it. And we could see the bigger picture of the next 100 years of our life and know that there was absolutely nothing we needed to change for it to learn what our soul came here to learn. How would it feel? For us to surrender to trusting the future all the time. It is up to us to let go and experience trust for ourselves and this divine cosmic play called life. When we let go and trust what is and what will be, magical things begin to happen. This universe will start answering our every request because we are in alignment with what is, instead of trying to change, control, or conquer what is destined to be. The mind is too small of a container to understand how everything is predestined, and yet we have the free will to change our imminent future. The future is not set in stone. It is written in the sand, which ironically is what allows the mind to experience the energy of worry, stress, fear in the first place. If everything was set in stone, there would be no way we could grow and have the grand experience of shifting from love to worry, stress, fear. Even our destiny can be shifted. Now, it all depends when we are ready to step permanently out of worry, stress, fear mode in our lives. Take an honest, deep look inside ourselves and see what our personal worry issues are usually centered around. Why are we so attached to these issues and not the other issues? We get curious about the subtleties of this attachment and simply notice how it feels to be attached. The next step is replacing worry, stress, fear with wonder and being curious about what these hurting parts inside of us truly need. After we find out what they are missing, love, trust, appreciation, gentleness, etc., then let them feel what they need. Feel a sense of wonder inside about everything inside you. Constantly refocus your mind on being curious about what it discovers is true and real. Every time the mind goes into worry, stress, fear, automatically replace it with wonder. You can implement this simple switch the instant you begin worry, stressing, and fearing. And your life will become absolutely wonderful. See, we create it, and we bring it in, and we've done it so many times that it's kind of like regular stuff. We don't even, we don't look at it from of curiosity and wonder. It's just that's the way it is, right? And most of us do not face those. We push them away into a closet, our subconscious mind, and we leave them there. Now you could pick out the three biggest worries, stresses, and fears in your life right now, and then write down 3 new statements that flip these upside down by implanting the energy of wonder. For instance, if you're worried about making enough money to cover your bills, you might say, I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Now, remember that you don't have attachments to that or expectations. You're just asking the universe a question. I wonder how the money I need this month is going to show up. Practice saying this. These wonderful sentences to yourself and out loud anytime you start the path of worry, stress, fear. Get curious about what fearful future you're running from and find out what it is like to be at peace, even if that future should occur. Focus your mind on the expansive feelings of peace, trust, and relaxation. Anytime you get caught, worry, stress, fearful future mode. Even though we create everything, we do create things that we aren't aware of. The life is definitely full of surprises. And it will give you the greatest gifts that you could ever desire as long as you remain curious and open. Now, an interesting thing from Marcus Aurelius, our life is what our thoughts make it. We've been taught all these other things. We've been programmed and conditioned all these other things, but none of this stuff. This stuff allows us to discover who and what we are. But that's like a void because we've never been programmed or conditioned about any of that at all in any lifetime. All of us have always been and will always be absolutely supremely powerful manifestors. We are, guys. Look at your life. If you sit for a moment, you don't analyze, you don't judge, you just watch. Look at the life so far. And understand that, bracing the understanding, is that you created it. To this very moment, you created it. Isn't that wild? Now, we don't think about that. A lot of the times, we have very difficult times trusting ourselves first. That's the big one. A lot of us have an issue trusting fully in ourselves. And then we cannot trust anyone or anything else. We might a little bit, depending on how we are with ourselves. See, there is no need for any of us to even spend another moment of suffering to occur at all for us to realize this deeper truth inside. Because who we really are is beyond the physical world, which is what enables us to manifest anything in it, because we're beyond it. We come from the unmanifest, that is pure, unlimited divine potentiality. We are naturally a soul permanently and forever. For eternity, this spiritual essence is the core truth of who and what we always will be. There is nothing we can do to change this, nor anything we can do to turn off the natural manifesting powers that come with this body and mind we are inhabiting. Experiencing ourselves as a natural creator, manifesting being is our everyday, it's in our everyday world, can be easier than more enjoyable than we could ever think. In fact, each moment is another direct doorway to exploring the divine understanding within us and all around us. In fact, we have a direct doorway to exploring the divine understanding within us and all around us. What could be more enjoyable than that? This inner and outer exploration of the divine is what makes our entire journey on this earth worthwhile, and will provide more evolutionary progress for our soul than anything else we could or should be doing here. The secret to manifesting what we really want in this life comes from shifting into this higher spiritual frequency of thinking and consciousness. When we are vibrating with joy, enthusiasm, love, and trust, we will automatically attract things, situations, and people that resonate at this higher frequency. High vibrations attract even higher vibrations, and so on. Wherever our attention goes is where our energy flows. We do not always need to be aware of this process for it to work. Simply put, whatever, in this very moment, whatever we are thinking about is what is being manifested. We are always manifesting something, whether it is a compulsive worrying habit, an intimate relationship, our next meal, or world peace. Whatever we think about will grow. It's just like we all know that, let's say we focus on all of the gibberish out there, right? the April 8th Armageddon eclipse, all this rhetoric that's bubbling to the surface in YouTube videos and all this stuff, right? Why would we care to put our energy there? Dank. You can feel in your heart mind that it is absolute, however you want to put it, crap. You can feel it. It's not judging, you just feel it. Now, the more we put our energy on it, the more it will grow. That is absolute. And it will become our experience more frequently down the road. Now, the big question is, are we really clear, crystal clear, about what we want to manifest and what we do not want to manifest? What are thoughts for? Okay? We are all born with this innate ability to materialize thoughts into physical form. That's why we have thoughts. That's the reason we have thoughts. So that we can materialize them into physical form and can improve upon this gift by learning how to harness the power of the mind. We direct it. It doesn't direct us. Right now, the majority of people on this planet, it's directing them. Now, all that is needed for this is total surrender to the idea, feeling, and experience of what we want to manifest as if it is already here now. In a way, it is. It is. Instantaneous manifestation occurs when we can hold this sensation and continuously release the emotional negativity and resistance to having it be real. We resist that. When there is zero resistance, total openness to the infinite possible ways it can happen, in deep knowingness that our desired outcome has already manifested on some level for us in the here and now. Then it has to manifest for us instantly. Now, to many, that's an eye roller, right? This may seem impossible, ridiculous, or miraculous. Yet it is as natural as the warmth from the sunshine above. So, we surrender to it all. We sit back and enjoy the ride. Because, see, when we focus our power truly and very clearly and concisely what we do want, we're going to have it. And what are the fail? Well, you want to make sure that you are not attached. You don't have attachments to it. And you don't have expectations. Because any of us know when we have expectations and they aren't delivered, those expectations aren't delivered, what happens? We suffer. We worry, stress, fear. And see, we've been all taught to question trust, right? Some people on this planet don't believe anybody, don't trust anybody, and they're like a ball of anger, frustration, and worry. Don't trust anybody, don't trust themselves. Don't trust themselves, don't trust anybody. Everybody's out to screw you, beat you, whatever. This is what keeps us at bay for being the true manifestors that we really are. And isn't it interesting? The energy of trust is one of the greatest manifesting energies we can harness. And it is. It will propel us faster and easier into the life of our dreams right now. Imagine you have a trust meter in the middle of your chest. It measures your trust in yourself and this universe and has a scale on it that goes from 0% to 100%. How much do you trust life in this very moment? You ask yourself that. How much do you trust life in this very moment? Randomly throughout every day this week, check your body's trust meter and notice where it's at. How do you do that? You ask yourself, how much do I trust life, this life, in this very moment? And you got to be just straight up with yourself. Check inside to see where your trust levels are at and practice feeling trust all through your body. Practice trusting in the perfection of this life in each moment until your trust meter reaches 100%. The goal is to live every day of your life with your trust meter relaxed and resting at 100% all the time, no matter what occurs. You can devote the next 7 days of your life to seeing how high your body-mind can vibrate at on the trust meter. Do everything you can imagine that feels peaceful, healing, and exciting to your soul. Do what will bring you more trusting energy and trust that everything that occurs is the right thing to occur. When you devote your life to growing this trusting feeling, then life will devote itself to growing its trust in you. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Would we ever be stopped? Would we be stopped like we are now in different things in life because of worry, stress, fear? What would happen when we overcame worry, stress, fear? We didn't have it. We viewed things from a perspective of total trust in ourselves and this universe, which is this life. So we've got, and fear, worry, stress, fear, it's all connected. It is an emotional response that happens when we imagine or believe that something is going to harm us in some way. Now, it also can be healthy when it provides the valuable service of keeping us safe from physical dangers, such as a hungry mountain lion or stepping in front of a high-speeding truck. It activates our adrenaline glands so that we can fight or take flight. It does have its place in this wildly active world we live in, and thus does keep us alive. However, it is more often a life-defeating energy when we overreact to situations and experiences that hold no real danger. Now, a prime example is And I've asked a lot of people this through the years, and it's amazing. Their greatest fear that they can really embrace is giving a speech to a large crowd in public. You believe that? That's their biggest fear. And the funny thing is nothing really is going to physically harm or kill the person while they are speaking, singing, entertaining, yet the fear comes from being judged, right? Judged on your speech, your talk, disapproved of, and unloved. A singer will get up, like on America's Got Talent or any of those shows, little children and adults, and sing in front of over 4,000 people. And some of them are very nervous. Why? What is it? Well, they don't care to be judged, disapproved of, or unloved. That's it. In fact, if even given a speech about something you're passionate about can be the most exciting activity of your week. And when you learn to see that your worry, stress, fear is just excitement in disguise, you can turn the most challenging situation into an event you'll want to repeat again and again and again. How many times you thought about something and you had this whole picture laid out in front of you, and you were going to do something, okay? And you had already surmised all the things that could happen, right? All the things that could happen. All these different scenarios. And then you do it, and none of that takes place. And you're completely blown away at the response. And you may say to yourself, I can't believe I did that. Now, our imaginations will get overactive, and we will start fabricating things. We'll wander off here, and we'll start talking about this and talking about that with ourselves and building things, instances and scenarios. Now, for instance, okay, and I know a lot of people have done this. Have you ever been home alone at night and begun to strain your ears for strange noises and imagine something hideous was lurking behind your curtains? Do you ever do that? If you then confronted that fear by turning on the light and moving the curtain to see a scared mouse scurrying away, you'd be relieved, and your monstrous thoughts would magically disappear. Once you see the reality of any situation, you realize that you never had anything to worry, stress, fear about at all. So it only has power over you if you do not face it. The moment you confront your worry, stress, fear, and discover the truth, you are freed up inside and magically overcome it. How do people break through all of that? Worry, stress, fear, and their lives, right? It's simple. It really is. Simply realize the truth of who you are. That's number one. Remember, you're not the body. You're not the name. You're not your belongings. You're not your status in this society. You look deep down inside yourself and see that you are an infinite being, a soul God, who can never ever die or be hurt by anything of this world. You realize you have been around for an eternity, a long, long, long time, and will continue for eternity. There is nothing that can truly harm you nor change this divine truth about what you really are. To conquer all the fears in your life, all the worries, all the stresses, all it takes is realizing this truth and living it. See, you realize, right, this truth. But the other part is actually living it. When you face your fears, worries, stresses, with this knowledge inside, there is nothing you can possibly be afraid of. Nothing. And it's appropriate time, isn't it? All this stuff flying around. You go look on Rumble and YouTube, all these different places, and you'll see all these spiritual videos and premonitions and, coming up with all of this stuff in the Bible and the prophecies. And I mean, can you see it? You see it? How it's just swelled up? And remember, all it takes is realizing the truth and living it. When you really, really, really know who you are, what you really are, then all the fears in your life will be gone. All it takes is understanding that. There's nothing that any of us can possibly be afraid of. And these are all made up. They really are. You ever just, maybe you're just kind of doing nothing and these thoughts start coming in, you start wondering. You might go in the past, people that you haven't seen or talked with in years show up and in your mind, and then you go over here and then you look at all the stuff on the planet and you go, geez, what's this all coming to? And you see how it slowly you get seduced? And where's your thinking? Where's your focus? Where's your focus? Is what you ask yourself. Where is my focus right now? You stop and you say, where's my focus here? Do I really believe all this stuff? Can any of this stuff really harm me? Unless I focus on it. Okay? Because I know I'm a supremely powerful manifester. So I also know that when I focus on something, okay, with total trust in myself, I know I'm going to have it. It's a no-brainer. Whatever it is. So you begin to catch yourself and say, I'm not going there. I don't care to. I know that scenario. I know that. Say, I've been seduced into that at times. And the ego mind starts to move me in that direction. Worry, stress, fear. What's going to happen? The big flash. And our DNA and everything is set for us. And we don't have to lift a finger to do anything or learn anything or experience anything, pretty much. Just a big flash, you're all set. And we've all been programmed and conditioned to believe what? Something is always there to save us. Right? Something's going to happen to save us. That little bit is there. It's kind of there with all of us to varying degrees. But this is the current situation is unacceptable. Right? It's unacceptable. And we don't care to participate in it. We're focusing our power on what we want. And we're doing that by literally amping up our trust in ourselves. But that increases our vibrational frequency. And what does that do? Moves us out of all of this murkiness, sludge, goop. Doesn't it? Don't you feel lighter when your vibrational frequency is higher? Absolutely. It gets to a point, not that we're ignoring it. We're not ignoring it. We know it's there. But we just aren't participating in it. We are going through I would say the most massive, major spiritual evolution that could ever occur. And see, we're doing it. There's nothing that comes in from outside of us. It's all within. Remember that. It's all within you, all of us. That's the power of the One. It's not out there. It never has been. But if you're very heavily entrenched with the ego mind, then again, you would believe that it is out there. That something out there is going to save me. And as we move along and discover for ourselves that is an illusion. It's not true. But many believe that. Many. And we begin to recognize, if we don't right now, we will, that evil, its whole purpose is to get us to focus upon it. What will that do? It will make it more powerful, more compelling, and more into manifestation. We've all been many times, the amnesia, right? Many lifetimes, doing all kinds of things, experiencing all kinds of things. This one, however, for many, is the great spiritual awakening. This one is kind of like the curtain has opened or the gate has disappeared, blocking us. And the only reason it's disappeared because those of us have chosen to be in higher frequency on how we perceive, how we view, and that we watch and we don't judge anymore. When we judge, we're judging ourselves. When we cast aspersions, we're casting aspersions on ourselves. When we hate, we're hating ourselves. We hate others, we're hating ourselves. We have this absolutely supremely powerful abilities, all of us, to shift direction on a dime, like that. Now, you don't know that, then sometimes it will occur even though you don't know it, that it's coming from you. You can overcome this way when you begin to understand is that you face whatever it is that's bothering you. You face it, right? Now, you determine through experience and interaction that there are some things that you don't even care to involve yourself with or to engage yourself with. You just immediately say, I don't care to go there. And maybe you have been there so many times that it begins to become so futile and heavy for you that you've decided to close the book on it. It's not negative. You've just decided that for yourself is to close the book on it. Whatever it may be, that you have faced it, you have looked at it, you have reviewed it, and you've said, okay. And you're grateful for whatever it has taught you. And isn't it interesting? I believe we've all experienced this. When maybe something that kind of irritates you and whatever, all of a sudden disappears, what happens? Now, there's one of two things. You don't miss it at all and you're very happy and lighthearted about it. Or you go, wow. Even though at the time it irritated you, but now you say, oh, wow, maybe that's not there anymore. There's a void. And the only reason that is because you aren't fully connected with the God that you are and your best friend, the universe. You say we're never alone. We never will be alone. And you begin to realize that you have everything you will ever need on this eternal journey. And every time we're in a body, we begin to understand that we're never alone, and we have all the power of creation, manifestation, that we could possibly want. And it's just directing it and knowing how, discovering these things about oneself so that you can overcome them. And the only way you overcome anything is to face it. And it's really true. You just kind of sit down and have a conversation with it. It's amazing what happens. Everything just kind of opens up. And what happens to it? Disappears. Doesn't come back. It's only when we try to ignore or run from it is that it will relentlessly chase us and chase us and chase us. It will always be on us until we turn around and say, okay, let's stop right here. Let's have a seat. And the rest is history. In other words, whenever you have that feeling, right, we all get it. It could be light, medium, or heavy duty. Embrace it. That's the key to moving through anything. Embrace it. Dive into whatever that feeling is, fearful feeling, stressful feeling, anxiety feeling, worry feeling, and realize the truth of who you are. That is beneath it all. This is a technique alone has created amazing, fast, and enormous shifts in many people's lives. And it's highly recommended that you do this form of exercise in a quiet place where you will not be disturbed. You can sit back in a chair, close your eyes. Imagine that one of your fears, stresses, worries is on your list, is happening to you. The worst possible thing that could happen is happening, and let yourself truly feel what it'd be like to be in that situation. And once you are feeling the fear in your body, remain in the center of the fearful feeling. Stay there and let it get stronger and bigger until you reach its maximum peak. Remain at the peak Breathe into this experience as long as you can. Do not get freaked out and bail out early. It is not real, remember. It is all happening in your mind. Stay in the strongest feeling of the fear until it naturally will become smaller, weaker on its own accord, and then fade away. Now, once any of us fully allow ourselves to feel all aspects of worry, stress, fear inside of us, something will naturally move us beyond the fear and into a peaceful feeling. When we find this place, we will be done with that fear forever. It cannot return the same. Once we experience this natural release inside, there will be a deep stillness, emptiness, and silence when it is truly gone. Any ideas you have about your fear will seem like an old dream that has no real emotion attached to it. Now, in the event it tries to return, welcome it. Refocus on the stillness, emptiness, and silence inside. From this silent space, it is easy to realize the truth that you are an infinite divine being of consciousness that cannot ever, ever, ever be harmed. See, we've all been taught physical material. Okay? That's what we've been taught. That's where do you think our fear comes from? Programming, conditioning. When we don't know who and what we are, we're going to experience a lot of fear, worry, stress in this life and other lifetimes. It all boils down to every one of us in this civilization deciding for ourselves to make that turn. Okay? You come up to a crossroads. You all know what those are, right? 4 corners, intersection. And you look right and you see, know who and what you truly are. Okay? And then over on the left, it shows worry, stress, fear. And then straight ahead is the unknown, the future. Now, can you honestly say to yourself that, okay, so I'm going to go straight on to the future, when you haven't decided where you're going to go before your future, which is going to make your future much higher, much more energetic, happy, joyous, blissful, when you discover who and what you are? So, say you say, okay, I'm going to take right here. There's a sign. Discover who and what you really are, truly are. And then you start on that road, everything else will fall into place. Once you discover that, everything else will fall into place. During the quiet time of this meditation, you see that intersection. See it. No one else is there. You're the only one. There's nothing around you but you. And you see these signs, and you make a decision. Now, once you've made that decision, trust 100% in that decision. I'll join you in the meditation or not. Say, that's what's going to tell you. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close this out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose. Easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Be still. You are the dreamer and the dream. It's so easy to get lost in the dream. We are either dreaming about what we want or what we don't want to manifest. When we notice who is aware of the mind dreaming, scheming about everything in our life, we can see how easy it is. Step back, awaken from the dream. We realize that we are the divine dreamer, source behind the manifestation of our dream. We are creating it, all from within, our highly creative imagination. This is our day to truly wake up and be free from it all. Get out of your comfort zone, step beyond this dreamland. Find that eternal witness who never dreams and is permanently awake, living life by smelling the roses. Take this with you for the rest of the day, into the evening and night, the following morning. We will return here Tuesday, March 26, 2024, a little after 3:15 p.m. Eastern, to continue our global guided meditation call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the highest of the highest high, deepest of the deepest deepest, purest of the purest purest, eternal gratitude at all times, no matter what's happening within you or outside of you.